Hey guys, Michael Merula here. The Tharkans, once the most powerful empire of the Unknown World on the central continent of Ída, had modest origins. What began as a coalition of herders on the southern plains gradually grew into the kingdom of supreme technological, cultural and military might. However, their greatness was ultimately undone by internal corruption, complacency and invasions by a northern nomadic hordes. From the ashes of the old empire rose the dark kingdom of Acheron, and the Tharkans, said to possess the arrogant Atlantean blood, eventually faded into the history. Today we journey back to the early days of Archaic Age, of the rise of the Atlanteans and their invasion against the free peoples of Ída. Ironically, it was these very Atlantean raids that forced the Tharkans to evolve into the war-hardened and technologically advanced power they would later become. Through fantasy world building, illustration and character design, we will explore the lore of the Tharkans as described in the tale of the rise of the Atlanteans, their warriors, armor, weapons and battlefield strategies. In the prehistoric times of the Unknown World, the Tharkans settled on the southern plains with their herds of cattle. However, the Almarans, the fierce nation of hunters and warriors from the Almarian forest, frequently raided their lands, stealing livestock. In response, the Tharkans began migrating to newly built fortified villages for protection. The Tharkan people chose their chieftains based on the wisdom and decisiveness, as they were known to be an incredibly stubborn, proud and impulsive people. They embodied unique mix of peaceful, pastoral nature of the Vulturans and the wild, warlike ferocity of the Almarans. Physically, Tharkans were shorter than tall Almarans, but their resilience and adaptation to hardship made them a formidable force despite their stature. When the Atlanteans launched their first expedition to the central continent of Ída, they landed on the southern plains, where the Tharkans were the first to experience Atlantean arrogance and the might of their, at the time, world's most advanced military. After a series of clashes, a portion of Tharkan people fled into the Almarian forest, where they regrouped together with the Vulturans, who were also under attack. They launched a counter-offensive. However, the Battle of Lerna ended in disaster. The smaller but highly disciplined Atlantean expeditionary force demonstrated their true power, crushing the coalition army of Tharkans, Almarans and Vulturans. The Atlantean army, as we know from previous accounts, was a combination of the cavalry lancers and heavy infantry, clad in the scale armor, wielding spears, swords and maces forged from orichalcum, a rare metal found only on the Atlantean island. After this catastrophe, the unaccepted alliance of former rivals regrouped to devise new war strategy, while the Vulturans relied on their heavy bronze infantry, which could withstand but not defeat the Atlantean cavalry. The lightly armored Almarans and Tharkans needed better equipment. The core of the Tharkan military forces consisted of peltasts, light skirmishers armed with javelins, wicker shields covered in animal hide, and short double-edged stabbing swords. These weapons sufficient for the border skirmishers and clan feuds, but there were no match for the Atlantean military machine. To survive, the Tharkans, known for their remarkable adaptability, began copying Atlantean scale armor. However, lacking advanced metallurgy skills, they turned to the Vulturans, master of metalworks, who helped them refine their craft. Over time, Tharkans improved upon their designs, incorporating both Atlantean and Vulturan influences, ultimately forging a modernized army that would carve out the greatest empire of the Unknown World, the story in the Aquila conquest. Now let's explore how Tharkan warrior from the age of the rise of the Atlanteans appear in my digital illustrations. How did I design these characters, weapons and armor? What historical influences inspired me? And how do world building, storytelling, lore and pseudo-historical military fantasy intertwine? For the initial design of the Tharkan warrior, I drew inspiration from the three real-world Asian civilizations: Scythians for their heavy cavalry, Thracians for their weapons, Iberians for their armor and clothing. By blending these elements, I created the first Tharkan warrior of the reformed army of the legendary King Aquila. They were equipped with scale armor, crescent-shaped shields, javelins, and curved falcata swords. The white eagle became their sacred emblem, a symbol playing a crucial role in the Tharkan history and mythology. However, during my research, I encountered an inconsistency. At the time of the Atlantean invasion, the Tharkans did not have the cult of the eagle, which only emerged centuries later when they migrated under the Eagle Mountain, where the final climatic battle of the story takes place. To correct this, I revisit their early emblem to ram, which suits their stubborn nature. Originally as herds of the sheep and goats, the ram was fitting an authentic symbol for their early culture. For this new warrior concept, I combine various historical influences: the Iberian helmet from the Punic Wars, the straight Iberian sword ancestor of the famous Roman gladius Hispaniensis, colorful bird feathers and eagle motifs on the helmet, a Scythian bronze belt used for carrying weapons as a warrior insignia, the Thracian peltast crescent-shaped shield and javelins, scale armor inspired by Atlanteans, a Scythian battle axe with ram's head design, a sword pommel shaped like a horse head, referencing the Atlantean noble horses later incorporated into the Tharkan cavalry, a dark cloak useful for cold weather and stealth attacks, bronze helmet horns reinforcing the warrior's imposing presence. As noted in the Byzantine military manual Strategicon, when a soldier looks formidable, he feels confident and inspires fear in his enemy. Psychologically, tactics win battle more than raw individual skill. That wraps up today's fantasy world-building episode, covering warrior design, illustration, lore, storytelling, fantasy maps, and inspiration from Asian military history. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps bring this world to life and improve it. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, share it with others who might like it, and subscribe for more. YouTube doesn't pay me, so if you want to support this project, gain access to exclusive illustration and artistic process, consider supporting me on the Patreon. Huge thanks to my loyal patrons. Without you, none of this would be possible. I appreciate you all. I will see you next time.